Hi, it's David here with Future Trading. I'd like to welcome you to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. I got a lot of free information for you, and we're going to get into all of it. All right, so here's the universal threshold. With the live candle, this is how far the bar will pull back before it resumes. This is the price action trend. You just need to be able to count to 10 in order to pull this off. And then, of course, there's that price action method. This is where your stop would be. Very useful information, I may add. Universal chart skill. So I'm going to teach you how to use that hard right edge and know that you do not have to look hindsight in order to get your trading to work. The hindsight will never stop you out. All right. So I'm going to teach you how to use your bezel, how to look on that hard right edge and know that the market can turn. Now, if you're in the market for additional information, I do provide that. You can pause the video and read that should you want to. You don't need it. All right. So I want to make sure I say that to you. There's a lot of videos here, really important stuff, far more impactful than what's here for free. But I want to tell you this is all you would need. Let me give you some free information. 12:15 a.m. to 1:45. That's the darker range here. That's the overnight. That's the gray area. And then of course here the 6:15 to 7:45 a.m. And that's this blue range here. I'll scroll through the chart and allow you to see these times with the additional education. Should you want to go beyond what's free, there's a couple of more ranges that I do provide, but these are robust enough to get it done. Simple information. Again, if you like range trading, that's why I put these here for you. This was here when I first started the channel, but occasionally I like to bring it out and reintroduce it to the public because I don't want you to have to go back through the videos to find it. All right, so these are the time windows. And again, you're just trying to stay below the midpoint of the range or above it. It's really simple, nothing complicated. All right. And oftentimes price will just kind of get compressed inside those areas, but this is what they've been doing this morning. All right, so yesterday's activity, okay, the prior day before that, just to give you an idea, you want to again stay above the midpoint or below the midpoint of the range, depending on whether or not you're bullish or bearish. You do not have to use that, but if you like trading ranges, that's something that you can go with. But I want to teach you how to read your chart first. Let's just take a quick look at that before we dive into any of the other information because they're here. This the center of the chart. All right. So typically, they like to bounce at the center of the chart, or up at the upper portion of your chart, or at the lower half of your chart. If they're going to lift up, oftentimes they will, stop at the threshold of the bar. Okay. So these black lines, this is where the live candle trades into the live bar. And this is known as the wick zone. So this is a wick zone, how far the bar will pull back before trying to resume. Now, I do suspect that they may move down just a little bit more. I do. Do they have to? No, they can turn around and go right back up right now should they want to. But I suspect they may move down just a little bit more, but they don't have to. Again, they can go up. They absolutely can. Now, just given the aspect of them already having declined here, kind of pulled up to the center of what this is. This is a trend back down. They pulled up and they're moving back down again. Now, what makes for the trend? Let me go ahead and tell you that. I got it kind of illustrated over here, but let's kind of draw it out just a little bit here. We just need 7 bars closing lower than the prior, and you got to ignore any bars that's in between. Okay, so you ignore that's 4, 5, 6, and that's 7. So we got 7 here. So what we would do is we would just project that distance. All right. So we just project that distance here, and we would do something to this nature here. And so that's saying that they could possibly get here. So let's just put this here and then we're going to discuss a little bit more information. So let's just kind of throw this here as a reference, and I'm going to lock this. Okay. Now, I do suspect that they can go back up should they want to, but this is right now what the market is saying that it wants to come here. Now, this bar is red, so they should not pass this bar, but this is our no close bar as well. So we don't really want them closing back above the high of this bar. So hopefully, let's see if they'll go into this threshold and just kind of turn back around. Let's see if they'll do that. And again, they can go up. It's not to say that they can't. I'm gonna go over some of what they've done this morning thus far. I'm sure some of you may have ran into a problem with all of this swinging activity, but given what I plan to cover with you, hopefully you'll get your trading to work. They're responding to the threshold here off of this green bar. So I'm gonna kind of put that there as a reference. And again, you can go back and kind of pause the video. They dove right into this bar here, and they popped out of it. All right. So there's a couple other indications on the board, and we're going to talk about them. But let me put this here for you just so you can get an idea of what we're going to go over. All right. So this is simple. It's not complicated. If they plan to turn around, maybe it's in here and then they fall because you don't want them closing above here, and they definitely shouldn't run past this red bar. Okay, that's the scenario with the midpoint, the universal price action method using the majority principle. That's when that midpoint exceeds the prior bar's high or exceeds the prior bar's low. So that creates an effect of price wanting to move, price expanding. All right, so we want to make sure that that's still at play. All right, so that's important. So let's leave that there and let's see if they're able to make it. Now off this bottom, and I want to point this out. All right, got a couple of indications up here. We got the increase indicator, which will try to help find the wicks, all right, the wicks, the bodies. It's going to try to incorporate some of this information. It's not perfect, but again, this is something that I try to code and put together. I'm not perfect at it. Just try to put something together to make it simple. All right. And of course, I got some pressures. You may see them fire off in real time. All right. You may see them if that scenario should show up. So if this midpoint can exceed that prior bar, the pressures will show up. Okay. Now there's an additional indicator in here, and I'll go over what that is, and you can learn what that is. Now there's some other indicators that's attached to this particular indicator that I'm unable to show on the chart. That gives you a little bit more information on how to trade it. I'm unable to tell you that, but I will tell you what's making forward this indication. Okay, so there's the pressure. So that means that they're doing the scenario to get it to go up. All right, now they're at the center of the chart, so yes, it can bounce and it can try to lift up. Absolutely, I did tell you that they can go back up should they want to. So this is not nothing strange. All right, so they was at the center of the chart, they can lift up. The bar should turn green. Now, should this happen, this bar will turn green. Because remember, you don't want them closing above here. You just don't. So this bar should turn green, and should that happen, they shouldn't blow back past the back of this bar. So they got through here. They only stalled, for a bar, kind of wicked out here, but they're able to exceed that setup. Can they go up? Yes, they absolutely can go up. Remember, we're trying to incorporate the chart scale as well. All right, so we're trying to keep track of the fact that they can turn back around. All right, so now let's go back here and finish looking at this bottom, because there's some blue boxes that I have put on the chart, and I want to give you what it is that is as well. All right, so on this bottom, we had the big wick. All right, so this is the larger wick, smaller wick scenario. So we want to try to incorporate the midpoint exceeding the high or the midpoint exceeding the low. So we want to try to get the midpoint, the 50% of the bar that's in transition, the live bar that's moving up and down, up and down. We want to try to get that bar to exceed that prior bar's high. That's important. And should that show up, we want to try to put two additional components with it as well. And hopefully we can get all three. And that's why I'm highlighting the ones that had all three. But in most cases, you will at least get one of these to show up. Each one is a component of majority, but we would like to have all three. It just makes it better. All right. So larger wick, smaller wick. You get the smaller body, larger body. Now with this one, it's just one caveat. Just one thing I want you to kind of keep in mind. If we can get the smaller body to fit inside of the bigger body twice, all right, I want you to think about this. Get the smaller body to fit inside the bigger body twice, all right? And so here, you were able to get this smaller body to go inside of this body of the bar here. You want to be able to fit this body here, this one here, inside of that bar's body twice, right? It had the big wick, smaller wick. The midpoint of the bar is exceeding this bar's high, and it went up. All right. Now, when you go to count your trend, you want to get 7 green bullish bars that is closing higher than the prior. You will ignore the ones that are not. All right. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, and here's 7. You do not count that one that's not closing higher than the prior. All right. So there's your trend. Here's your trend distance. All right. So it's like you, whenever you have a thought, you have the end in mind. So you know exactly where you want to go. You know exactly what you want to do. And the market functions the same way. It's really important that you get that. So everywhere that you're seeing a blue box here, that's that scenario that had all three components. Right. So it's really important that you get that. There's an IN text that will try to give you, some of what these components are, just to illustrate some of the indications that's available in the indicator list. And I got tons of them. I'll try to give you price action indicators so you can kind of just have some assistance there, giving you indication. It's not going to tell you how to trade. It's just going to give you indications and you can learn from them should you be interested. What I will do is, if you're watching this video right now and you're interested in having the indicator suite, email me, state to me that you have watched the video and you would like to receive the discount, and I will cut half off. So you'll only pay $100 for the indicators. All right. So you won't have to pay 200, but you'll have to let me know that you watched this video and you heard the discount offer. All right. So here's the wick being bigger. There's hardly any wick on the back of this bar, and there's really none. And then, of course, this body can fit inside of this candle twice. And then the midpoint of this candle actually fell below that bar's low. And so all three components is there, okay, as it were down here. And you ended up beginning to move down. Now, it came in again to get it up, all right? Now, here's the reason why I marked this, because if the scenario shows up, okay, and they do not have any intention on offering you that distance without hitting that stop, there is a chance that it may go the other way that far. Right. So it may go that other way that far. And so I want you to kind of keep that in mind. It's really important when all three components show up. All right. I know this morning may be a bit of a challenge for some traders, and I want to help you see, even though all of this swinging back and forth, I want you to see that if you could utilize what's free. Now, this is free. This is my free information that I'm releasing to the public. If you can utilize what's free, you probably would have seen the chart just a tad bit differently. Just a tad bit. All right. So they came back to the center of the trend. Now, this is just like us. We have to evaluate, primary and secondary values, cost of thinking. Okay. Well, it's the cost of the thought. This is the center of the trend. It works the same. So at the center of the trend, there's a bit of a deliberation at this point, because if we're going to turn and make a trend and begin to move in a different direction, clearly we're going to evaluate whether or not that's worth doing that. And so somewhere from where it turned from and to where it's going, okay, there has to be a place where you're willing to defend it, to say, hey, I'm willing to act on this idea. I'm willing to make sure that this idea actually happens. And so as the market comes down here, they bounce at the center of the trend. And then they begin to turn back around and make another trend. And then here's that pattern here showing up again for the downside. It showed up here and moved down. All right. Now I want you to take in the fact that, they broke a high too. Try to fit all of that in there. And I'm not going to tell you too much information about that. That's something that I cover in the private lessons. But the highs, breaking the highs and lows, there's a behavior to that too. It's something that happens when that happens. But here we're just kind of running back into this trend, just slightly above the center of it. And then they put this here. Now this may be a bit close, splitting hairs here, but we're going to get it to work. There's a big wick, a little wick here. This body can fit inside this bar, and the midpoint fell below that low. Again, if the bar is green, that does not matter. What's making the bar red, the opacity that's inside the middle, is the fact that the midpoint fell beneath that low. So if the market is not going to offer you this distance, now this is just being reasonable for a target. If it's not going to offer you this distance and it begins to turn around, okay, I want you to go for it, what it was that it suggested to the downside, but change the direction on it. All right. So if it's going to go up, then try that. Try to see if that'll work. Okay. Again, we're trying to make sure that all the components are there. This is important when all three components show up. Okay. So we want the midpoint to be above the high. We want the midpoint to be below the low. The big wick, larger wick, smaller wick scenario. We want the smaller body, larger body scenario with the body fitting inside of this body here twice. That's the only caveat. It needs to fit inside of here at least twice. It showed up again up here on the high. Let's take a look at this as well. All right, so let's kind of move some of this out the way. Okay. All right, so we had that scenario show up here. Now keep in mind, well, we're above a high. Okay. Now, I just told you, if they're not willing to offer you, okay, what's in front of it, okay, I want you to, okay, do that. All right, just do that. All right, if it's not going to offer you what it is that was in front, all right, try to go ahead and do that. That there's a good chance that that may be available for you. So this morning, when they were doing all of that back and forth, all right, just want you to kind of just keep this in mind. This may help just a bit. As they came into this low, all right, as they came into the low, they kind of offered you that same scenario. Let me just kind of move this out the way. All right, so they offered you that same scenario here, where there was a big wick, look, and of course this body here can fit inside of here. If you see this scenario, there's a good chance, and I'm gonna say it again, there's a good chance that you may have an opportunity. Should they not want to go down, they may want to go up. Now they broke it. They did. They broke above it. Okay, the market broke above it first. Okay, now all you could do is anticipate that it should happen. So you go up here. It didn't want to make it right away. Okay, that's fine. They came right back with another scenario here. Okay. Now it can't happen always. I'm just get this over here. Yeah, that's our trend. So we want to keep mind of that. They're very close in proximity. It's not that it went really, really far. And look at where it's happening at. This is the center of this uptrend over here. They tried it before and it went up. All right. So I want you to kind of keep this in mind. It's happening again. Now, it is as I just mentioned. Okay. If the market do not want to offer you that distance to the downside, which would have put them through the low. Okay. This wick here is large, no wick. Okay. This body can absolutely fit inside of that body there. And the midpoint is below the low because this bar is red. If they're not going to offer you that distance there, I know it failed this time. It's okay. You got to get stopped out occasionally. Go for that distance there. All right. So I just want to tell you that may be something that you would want to consider. And of course, again, I got indications that would try to help you navigate the other opportunities that may not have all three components. There's some other information there that you could possibly benefit from. Okay, so you'll see the IN that's increased. That's the DTT increase indicator. And then, of course, they had that scenario up here. They tried to make it, but then they didn't want to. They came back this way and they gave you the distance of the one to the upside. All right, so let's go into real time. They didn't want to do this. All right, so they didn't want to do it. It's okay. It's okay. Now they're making an uptrend. So let's measure that. I'm gonna read this just for a little bit here, and then I will let you go. One, two, here's three, four, five, six, and that's seven. All right, so let's do this. Don't make trading too hard. It's really simple. You just need to know some things, not too much. Even though I do disclose quite a bit of information in the private setting, but I have it's really simple. Trading is not hard. It's very simple. You may have to wait for your setup. That's important. You got to wait for it. So which setup are you going to go with? And now this is the free information. All right. This is the free information. There's far more that I can tell you about trading. I'm gonna tell you about this little square up here. I'm gonna tell you about that. Just some of it. I can't tell you everything, but just some of it. Um, so when this happens, you see all these wicks in here. Um, okay, so let's just go with, here they turned it around. They was trying to come down, but then they turned it around. That's fine. Just that threshold. Okay, the universal threshold. Let's make that black. The universal threshold. This is how far the bar will reach back before trying to resume. All right, so it'll reach back into the prior bar before trying to resume. It's your wick zone. All right, that's your wick zone. Remember here, see, that's the wick zone. So you should want to expect the live candle to reach into that zone and give you some kind of wick. Now, when you see that, it's a good chance that they may want to hold that bar. It's just a good chance. Okay, that's a wick zone. Okay, do you see that bar? They was trying to go down, but then they turned it around and attempted to go up. Okay, let's take and do this. Let's just make this black so you'll know that's our wick zone. Now, hopefully, it'll just continue to the upside here. Hopefully, we got a distance up there. We're trying to see if they're willing to make it. Can they fall down? Yes, they can. They can come back down there if they want. Let's just put us a line up here. We're going to see if we can get here. Free information. Hopefully, again, it'll find you well and that you can utilize it to your advantage. Now, they failed through that. That's fine. It's not the end of the world. Let's see what they do when they come back to this one. All right, so they failed through that. They tried to pop up and they tried to get through it. They did. The first green bar that did it. Let's see how much was in that bar. All right, so you had 200. You can direct your focus here. We had $235 in this bar. All right, and I want to tell you, $99.21 will get you $2,000 a month per contract. And so you don't have to take out, 5 and 6 and 7 and 10 and 20, 30 bars. Sometimes it's just okay to get one. Can you get one bar a day? Okay, try to focus in on that. Can I get one bar a day? I don't have to get a lot of them. Can I get one bar a day? That should be really important that you at first be able to accomplish that before trying to get several. Maybe, I don't know, they're doing it. Okay, so we got our pressure thing trying to fire off here. Let's just see. Let's see if they'll lift back up out of that zone. They didn't want to do it to that one there. They didn't. So let's see if they'll lift up out of this one. Let's just see. All we can do is see and wait. That's all we can do is see and wait. Let's see if they'll lift up. I do suspect that they may lift up a little bit. Let's see. And get back up above that high. Let's see if they'll do it. Okay, that's pretty good. Again, there's 290. There's 290 in that last bar. 290. Okay. Again, $99.21 is all you would need to get, $2,000 a month. They ran into this threshold up here, so it can work to either side. It can. I don't want to tell you that you have to stay long, but we do have an uptrend back in place again. We do, and it can't be both. So either we're going to go to the upside here without breaking the uptrend that they made, or they're not going to break that downtrend and they will come back down and hit this distance here. I do suspect that they're going up. All right, but I'm gonna put this here just so you can see it. They went into that zone there. I'm gonna try to leave everything in place so you can keep a reference. All right, so they hit that zone and they fell out of it. But again, that's why I told you. Let's see if they'll come to this one and then possibly lift back up. All right, so now let's see what this bar has in it to offer. Okay, so yes, so it's $440 in that bar. Okay, $99.21 is all you would need. I want to make sure I keep saying that to you because it's very important that you pay attention that trading does not take a great deal of interaction with it. All right, you just got to be very selective about when you want to get in it and exactly how much do you need to acquire what it is that you would like to do with your account. Don't base it on anything online. I want to tell you that. Even me, I'm talking to you. I'm trying to make sure that I'm exposing you to information that can fit within the parameters of what it is that you want to acquire for yourself as a trader. But do not go with, hey, take everything that I'm saying. I want you to adapt what it is that I'm sharing with you according to what it is that you may need for yourself as a trader. You may just need one of the components, the chart scale. They were at the center of the chart scale when we first started. Rewind the video. They lifted up. Or you may need the threshold. I need to get closer to price. I need to know where my stop is at. So if I need to know where my stop is at, where is my majority principles? Where is the no touch, no close? Where is my wicks that's bigger than the other? Where is my body that's, smaller than the other body? Really important. Really important that you take away the components. Now you may need it all. You may need it all. And if that's the case, yes, please regards pretty much most of it. But if not, try for the life of me, for the life of you, try to take just some of the information here and apply it. All right. Just try to take some of it, not all, just some of it. All right. They haven't broken this bar yet. All right. Now I see they came back. I get that part. I get that part. There's not much difference in the thresholds here when it came to this red bar versus this one. But let's move this. All right. Let's just try to, matter of fact, let's get us another one. Let's just get us one more. Let's just kind of throw this over here. Let's kind of throw this because I see that they ran back up here. So let's just do this. But again, I want to make sure that I encourage you to take just a portion of the information that's being shared here for free and apply it to your trading. Hopefully, something that I'm sharing with you will work. All right. There's some of you that has expressed to me that it works for you, and I'm so glad that it does. I'm very excited for all of you that have shared with me that this stuff is really making an impact on your trading. Thank you for doing so, leaving a comment, hitting the like button. Thank you so much for supporting the information. There's a lot of traders out here that need information that will work. A complete uh, synopsis of what's there. All right. So you may have people that's online that will share with you various different components, but it's in a vacuum. I'm trying to make sure I disclose to you information that you can kind of get an idea of all that is in front of you. All right. What's everything that's there? And I want to do it that's free. That's free. And that's the most important part. I want you to be free to make choices. Okay. You want to get who you owe off your mind. You know, you can't see your future if you're thinking about who you need to pay. All right. So first you got to be able to get that out the way. All right. So I want to help you get there. I want you to get who you owe off your mind. And hopefully the free information can provide you that experience that you can operate in a place of freedom when you choose. That's all. I don't want you to be stressed while you're doing it because trading in itself, it has a level of, frustration attached to it as well. But it's hard to see where it is that you would like to be with your future if you can't think of nothing else but who you owe. All right. So I want to try to help you be able to satisfy whatever commitments you have so you can begin to see your future. All right. It's really important that you get that done. So they haven't broken our bar here and they keep popping out of that zone. We got our increase this time. Okay. And smaller body can fit in here twice. Let's see if this will pan out. And again, these indications come with the indicator suite. And so if you are listening to the video and you would like to receive the discount on the indicator suite, I will give you 50% off if you want it. You don't need it. I want to tell you that. I'm explaining to you how it works. All right. So you don't need the indicators. You don't. I have, again, just a lot of indicators should you want them. This little square here, let's talk about that because I haven't went over that with you. And while we're waiting, because we're wanting price to get up here. All right. That's what we want. Now, this little square here is the manipulation indicator. What it does, and it's very simple, it just finds this scenario. So it looks for this, right? All we're trying to do is find for inside bars. I know everybody like an inside bar. Everybody know what an inside bar is. And if you don't worry. It's just this. We're getting the bodies of these bars located here inside of this one. All right. And typically it'll happen at least 4 bars. So that may help you too. All right. If you know when you see the inside bar, it may last for a little while. It's not going to just dissipate. Most of the time it don't. It may last for a little while. And that could help with your timing too. That can help you. All right. So I want to tell you that. So there may be people online that'll give you, hey, buy above the inside bar or sell below the inside. Don't, no, 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 no. Don't you do that. Don't you do that. And there's some other things that's involved in this, but this is just one of them. And I just want to tell you that this is how long it can potentially last. All right. Like here, we're on our third bar and may do it again. And that's useful information because then that'll keep you from just jumping right in it, thinking that, it would go. It may not go right away. It may take a little time before it decides that it wants to take off. And I want to help you deal with that because you may become unnerved about how it's moving and they may intimidate you and scare you out of the trade. So here's our universal threshold. They're at the upper portion of the chart. They're clearly above the center of the chart. So that helps for it to be bullish. And so let's see if they can stay above the center of the chart. That helps. So the manipulation indication there is just to help you. Now they didn't make it to 4, at least not yet. Okay. Maybe they'll just go ahead and take off here and they won't make it to 4, but that's 3. That's pretty good. I mean, it's almost 4. And so if you can know to some degree, okay, and that indication is all over the chart. Okay, they put 4 bodies. Okay, there's 4 bodies in here in that bar. They kind of move down. That's all. It's really simple, and it's not perfect. It's not trying to find turning points. And there's some other information that you would need to know. Again, I have other indicators that's made for this setup. All right, that will give you some additional information about what this one is doing. I can't tell you all of that, but I just have you know it shows up in some places, and yes, it'll turn. All right, it does, and that could be utilized and leveraged to your advantage. All right, so we had our increase here. There's our threshold. It's at the upper part of the chart. Maybe they'll lean into this threshold here and take back off. All right, maybe they'll lean into this one. There's the no touch scenario. Let's take and outline this here. One bar, the last bar, the green bar has $385 in that bar. It's $385 in that bar. And again, what did I just tell you? $99.21. It's all you would need in order to accomplish $2,000 a month. All right. You don't have to stay in these trades forever. You don't have to stick around. Definitely when they're, trading in this manner, it may be a tad bit difficult. And again, there's a lot of other information that's here. There's a lot of other information on this chart, but I'm trying to make sure I express to you some free information. You had the red dot here when these four bars here, uh, was there. Okay. However, that green dot, well, the green square, these are squares, kicked in when this bar finished here. They moved up. Okay, they moved up. I can't tell you everything. You had of course, the red square here when those four bars here was located. The bodies, just the bodies located inside that bar, they begin to move down. That's useful. You had the increase down here as well. You had an increase here, increase here. So unfortunately, this increase didn't work. This one did. The increase up here worked. This one didn't. So the indications is what? Meant to give you indications. All right. This increase is working. Okay. This one worked. It's a 2-bar setup. Okay. It's just a 2-bar setup here. It worked. It pushed down. It gave you that big red bar here. And of course, the low here. This one didn't. So the indications can work and not work. You're not wanting to trade indications. You should know why, and that's the whole reasoning for providing indicators that you can learn from, because a lot of vendors will give you indicators, but you can't really learn from them because they're not going to give you the information associated with it as to why it's plotting. I want to give you the information so you can read the market in its totality. All right, so I'm not going to be able to stay up here this whole time because this is taking a little bit of time to get up here. And again, I told you that the video will be short. I will come back and cover the daily. Some of you may be tuning in trying to, see what the daily was going to be doing. I've been covering that in the last few videos there. But this video is exclusively for those that may need some information about how to interact with price. I will show you the daily. I'll show it to you really quickly so you can get an idea of the information on the daily. So there's that threshold here. Okay. You see that threshold? The universal threshold here. Okay. That's important. That's important. They move right to the back of it. The black lines. They move right to the black lines and then they popped up. All right. I'm not going to dive into any of the content about it. I'm not going to do that. But I definitely wanted to give you guys some simple information that you can go straight away to your chart. Do we have all of it showing up? Okay. Do we have all of it showing up? We got the pressure coming on. Yes. There's the big wick. There's no wick. This body can fit in there at least twice. Okay. This body can fit in there at least twice. The midpoint is above the high. Can we get it to go? Let me see. I'll stick around for just this one. Can we get it to go this far? Because if it don't and come back past that red bar, okay, that's saying that they will come back down here. Okay. So are we able to get it to go this far? Let's stick around for just a moment on this one. Let's see. Because that's everything that I just said about how to look at price, how to utilize majority. Let's see what happens. Oh, it's a new high. Oh, that sucks. Oh, that's the other part. It's a new high here. Not up here, but here. Let's see, will they just come right back up though? Let's see what they come back. I mean, they're possibly going to use this threshold here. Hopefully. but they're breaking this new high here. That sucks. If they come back under here, then I absolutely must go. But they may use this threshold. They may. Let's see if they're willing to go right back up there. Okay, let's see. Let's just mark this really quickly and then I must go. I want you to be able to see your future. I want to say that to you. I want you to see your future, not who you owe. A lot of times that's what, drives people to come to this particular field is that they want relief. They want to be able to get an a edge on life, how to get financially a position where they're not having to go paycheck to paycheck and trying to make ends meet. And so I want to help you guys do that for free. And if you like the content, please share it. Please, I do not advertise at all. Everyone that's here have come on their own accord. I have not done any kind of advertising. I don't buy subscribers. I don't buy likes. I don't do any of that. I want to say that to you. I don't do any of that. I don't believe in that. I'm giving you information that's useful. So I think that that's important that you want to learn. So I don't give you prop firm links. I don't entice you with intros. I don't face plaster all over the videos. I don't have any new strategies. That's the number one thing I want to tell you. I don't have none of that. Hindsight analysis, try not to do that. And I don't regurgitate other traders' information. So I'm not telling you some stuff that you're going to hear some other trader talk about unless they start talking about it after I've released this information. I'm not telling you what anybody else is saying. I want to tell you what it is that I've been doing for years. And again, I'm very, very seasoned with this information. There wasn't any prop firms when I started trading. I want to tell you that I'm just that old. No prop firms. You had to trade your own capital. That's it. There's no shortcuts. All right. So important that you know what's here. It's education that I'm providing. Education that's obtainable. All right. We want to make sure that we're not in sensationalizing this. This is not something to do that with because you'll find yourself emotionally in a different space if you end up with the reality after it having been presented in a sensationalized manner. You'll go and trade and you'll end up with the reality. I want you to hear this, and you would absolutely be disgusted. And so that's the whole purpose of the channel, to kind of eradicate some of that stuff. I just want to try to help be a part of the solution. You don't want to do that. You don't want to come into this space. This space is full of professional traders. I want to tell you that, full of them. And there's a lot of losing traders here, but this space has professional traders here, and there's no sectioning off. I had to find that out myself, and I'm sure if you're here, you're coming to know this. There's no sectioning off. You don't get to go and interact with the beginners, the intermediates. The moment that you come into this field, you're interacting with professionals, people that know how to take your money from you. And should you, I guess, avail yourself to do so, to give them your money, because that's what will happen. You'll have to give it to them by making a choice, and it's by default. It will absolutely happen. I want to have you know that this is just some of the information that I'm aware of. Some of it is clearly not all of it. There's so much more I can tell you about charts and what's happening with the candles, the live candle while it's moving, where it's going, what it's going to do when it gets there. Been doing this for a very long time. I want to say that to you. Very long time. Very long time. Let's see. Let's see. I was trying to stick around. Don't want them to take out this bottom. I want to help as many as I possibly can. There's the four. Okay, so you see the red square here. That's saying that there's four bodies inside of this green bar. All right, so that may help some of you who's trading. If you're taking trades and you're wondering when will it go, when will it take off, when will it go, that may help you. You may find that yes, maybe now, hopefully, or it's not going to go anywhere. You'll get a feel for that. So just take that information. If nothing more, take this and say, hey, when I see this, there's a good chance they may not go, or they may not go that way. And that's something that you'll want to, because remember they had it. I think it was, over here. No, that was the increase one they did there. They had it here actually. It was one on the bottom of this one here. After them, they put the four inside of here, but then it flipped. It did the red one, and then all of a sudden it was going down. All right. So if you're looking for again information that's in line with what's realistic. Okay, that's what this channel is all about. Realistic information, how to professionally do this as a trader, how to do this as a chartist, because that's what we're doing. We're reading what's provided. We're reading the chart. I do have indications that I put on your chart should you want them. And again, you can receive the discount for $100 if you want. I will have that out there as long as you've seen this video. So if you've seen this video today, if you're seeing this video a year from now, just make mention to me. If you see this video 10 years from now and I'm still here, if God see fit, if you see the video 10 years from now, say, hey, you said in the video, hey, you will give me a half off. You got it. Okay, just let me know you watched the video. All right. So, well, they're actually making our trend distance as well. All right. So I wish you all the best with your trading. Do take care.